Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be discussing code. As you can see, I've got on my screen, this is the Da Vinci Code. But this video is about the Adelson Code. Just to show what I did there, I was a little bit impressed with myself. Not really, I mean, I don't have the greatest photoshopping skills, but look at that. Yeah, whatever. It's all good. You get the point. It's the Adelson Code. What is code? Thought I would be a little bit educational with this one. So you might be familiar with this. This is code as in for coding behind the scenes. I know I have a lot of older viewers according to my my stats behind the scenes. It says I have a lot of older ones, so you might not be familiar with this. Kids do coding these days in school, and this is all the stuff that goes behind the scenes that makes our computers do things like show this YouTube channel and all the other fun things. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And then to create the colors that we see on our screens, they have these hexadecimal codes. As you can see, you've got the codes underneath, and this tells the computer what colors to show. Of course, you'd be familiar with barcodes. Yeah, unless of course you shop in, what's that shop? Oh, one of the shops over in America. It's crazy they do barcodes. But anyway, if you're familiar with other shops, I'm guessing maybe Walmart have them. There's barcodes, and in modern days, and which became really big during the COVID era, QR codes. A lot of these ones are used so that you can use your smart devices and go straight to a link on your on your phone to go to a website or to an app. Really, really good. Back in the before technology, they had smoke signals as a type of code. They can send code from over a distance, or even this singular black cloud, black smoke cloud coming out of the Vatican City. That just tells us one thing: we haven't made a decision about a new pope yet. Then you have Morse code. Morse code. Some people will be familiar with the dots and the dashes, like the SOS code of the ... dash 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 ... And flags get used. You can see that these flags can actually represent different letters, and they can spell things out. Or you might be familiar with the semaphore flag signals that are used still to this day in the Navy, and that the Beatles did on the front cover of their Help album. And of course, there's a lot of people that have a big conspiracy theory as to what they're spelling out, and that they're spelling out the word help and all this, as Snopes is of course showing here. This is false. They weren't spelling out anything in particular. They just stood like that. They thought that it looked good. And that's the cover of the album. Then, of course, there are codes that people have where they want to sort of hide things from you, the covert things. You might be familiar with the Enigma machines from the war, through World War II especially. And the women and a few guys, but mostly women, who actually were the ones that worked on cracking these codes, so we could find out the messages that the Nazis were sending throughout their communication fields. Hieroglyphics from Egypt. They're a kind of code. They weren't trying to be secret with it, but just as the same way that the Enigma code needed to be cracked, we relied on the Rosetta Stone, which was found many years ago, and we were able to see the translation from Greek or ancient Greek to the hieroglyphics and work out what these things said. Now, sometimes some codes can be quite elaborate. That's elaborate. That's not elaborate, that's elaborate. Meaning intricate, complex, ornate, complicated, embellish. For example, the Zodiac Killer, he came up with a really, really interesting code. You would have seen it throughout. Any true crime fans would know the code that he came up with. And some mathematicians finally, a couple of years ago, cracked the code, including a fellow Aussie, and they were able to work out exactly what he was saying with the famous, I think it was the C54, I think it was called. That was the code name that the police gave to that certain one. And then there are code makers that, well, are not smart. They're just not smart. And this is the Adelson code. So Katie was involved with the Adelson code. You'll see this transcript of a phone conversations between her and Garcia. And, she used that code, the 6570, $65.70. She was saying, is it 6057 or 6570? That was the end. What she was talking about was the phone number that was given from the undercover cop during the bump. Charlie, of course, was involved with this as well, as we saw in his trial, Magbanua's code words, and also the ones that were used by Charlie Adelson with Katie. Things like, as I said, the first thing on there, the phone number, an agent. They also use client, patient, talking about the undercover cop, tenant for the blackmailer who could become a leech, and that was shown in the court case up on the big screen. Donna, we know that Donna spoke in code as well, which she did within some of her text messages between her and Charlie, where she said, "We'll stop in about 5 minutes and I can speak to you privately about Dad's birthday gift when I'm out of the car. And I know it's a tough birthday, 70 and all, but I know you'll come through." And Charlie says, "Okay, have fun, still working on the birthday present." Of course, as speculated, the birthday present is the murder. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the bump and the post-bump conversation. This TV will cost $5. The TV is clearly going to be shown in her case that's coming up soon. That means like a payment to the hitman or payment to blackmailers, or it's a way of talking about payments. And the TV, based on the the broken TV for Wendi's alibi, that's all part of the code. Yes, this TV will cost $5. And speaking of Wendi, we haven't seen a lot of communication behind the scenes. We haven't seen any recorded, there's no tapped phone calls. We haven't really seen a lot of text messages, or that we have seen we have heard about the one where she says, "This is so sweet," or "That's so sweet," that she sent to Charlie just after the murder or on the morning of the murder. Now this is one text message that we have seen. "Are you in Tallahassee, July 14 to 18? I just wanted to know if I can have the kiddos on the 16th. That was, are you home? Kind of, are you there? It's kind of like, it's code for, please be in place, I guess you could say. This is a code, maybe not really a code, but it's a kind of code. Basically, we'd be home alone on the 16th, maybe. I know the murder was on the 18th, but let's just say, if she can set up a date, know sort of his movements around that week, she knows what's going to be happening." Another thing that I think, I'm calling code is, and I've used the top pictures, one from Judy, AA Legal Focus, is at the top left-hand side. And of course, those who follow Roberta Glass would be familiar with this title card. "My mum baked him banana bread and gave him a hug goodbye." Now, I've put a picture of banana bread, but I wasn't even going to dare to Photoshop Donna anywhere near Dan. It just didn't feel right to do that. "My mum baked him banana bread Gave him a hug goodbye. This is a scene you might be familiar with, the scene where there's a kiss of death. I think of Scarface. I kind of feel that that's what it is. If there was a banana bread making incident, and which I don't think there was, and if there was a hug, it was more than likely the kiss of death. Now, we're all familiar with the book, Wendy's book that she wrote, where she has a character, Lily. Lily Walker Stone. So, and she also mentions Joshua, or Josh. So Lily, everyone speculates Lily is like Wendi. Lily is a English name. Wendi is of English origin as well. Joshua is a Hebrew name. And Daniel is a Hebrew name. So it's clearly that she's setting up characters that are in the same realm. And look, I know you could say that Wendi is spelt wrong there, and I did do a video on people spelling her name with a Y on the end. So let's fix it up. And it does say that with that spelling, it is of a Welsh origin, English, Welsh, same area, same sort of thing. I'm not too sure whether they intended to go with the Welsh meaning or whether they meant to go with the English one. Whatever. It's the same region of the world, same sort of thing. It is not a traditional Jewish name. My last video I said they weren't traditional Jewish, or is that the one that I'm working on at the moment? Anyway, I can never remember. I'll have to go back and actually see. So, no, that was the last one. That was the April Fool's one. Yes. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the last video. Yes, that was an April Fool's video. Anyway, so she's continues. She talks about a place called Hiawassee Springs. She talks about North Florida State University, Hiawassee Springs, Florida. That she talks about being in the Panhandle. Now there is a place called Hiawassee in Florida. It's actually closer. It was more it's your mid Florida sort of section. You can see Tallahassee, but Hiawassee Springs is easily Tallahassee based on her description. All right, let's just quickly go to this video because I just want to play you a little clip from her testimony, and there's a few sort of codes that she uses within this.
And did you go to the crime scene or very near the crime scene on your way from your residence to, I guess, to lunch or to wherever you were going next?
No, I did not.
So you never turned on Trescott Drive that day?
I went to turn on Trescott Drive, but I saw that it had been blocked off by some tape, and so I just kept driving on Centerville.
Okay, and when you had to turn around at the tape, right, to go back out?
I think I tried to turn right, and it couldn't turn, so I would have made like the kind of turn, like a K-turn, and kept going.
Was there a roadblock there with?
There was tape.
Yeah, and an officer was there?
I didn't see an officer, but I did see a car.
A law enforcement marked vehicle? Okay, did you have any contact with the officer?
No.
Okay. Did you?
Okay, so let's just go over some of those things. That are in there. So when she was asked a question, did you turn onto the street? Or did you go to the crime scene that day? She said no. No is Wendi Adelson code for yes. So if you hear her say no, generally what she actually means is yes. And when she said tried to, so she tried to, as in I tried to turn onto the street, that means I did. So you got to listen out for these codes. If she ever says tried to, what she means is I did. K-turn. Now, K-turn, this is actually a really, really interesting one. It actually means I fucked up. Yes. And you can kind of hear sometimes why people want to use a code word, because some people just don't like to. I mean, Charlie would laugh if she'd gone on the stand and she said, "Oh, did you go down the street? Yeah. Did you have to turn around? Yeah, I fucked up. I got to turn around." Charlie's going to laugh at that, so it's better that she just says, yeah, I tried to, okay, turn, whatever it was, sorry. A car. So that's two separate words, a and car. So that's code 4. Lots of police cars. Now, this is thanks to Jibbers and the Society page. Go and watch this video. It is really, really good. I'll put a link to it in the description if I remember. I often say that and I forget to, but I will. I'll put a link to this one in the description. There was a lot of activity. If she talks about seeing over various of her different testimonies, she does talk about seeing the police tape. She would have seen a hive of activity. Lots of police cars, lots. So that's just some of the codes, part of the Adelson code that you would have already heard or seen. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot more in Donna's. You could see that in the screen grab that I had from the trial, where it showed the code conversations between Charlie and between Katie. I'm sure that where the blacked out ones are ones that are saved for Donna's trial. It was like big spoiler alert. We knew it was coming. Yeah, so we'll wait till September, and I'm sure that we'll hear those. So tell me if I've missed any, which I know that I've missed. Tell me your favorite ones in the comments. Like and subscribe. You know, all the fun stuff. Yeah, just all the things that they tell you to do. Like, subscribe, and until we talk again, have fun. And by the way, I've just reached 500 subscribers, and I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.